Today we're talking about the CLA EchoSphere by Waves, and as of Black Friday 2020, this plugin is absolutely free. So I have a link in the description below where you guys can go get it for yourselves. So in this video, I'm going to do a full review on this plugin, and I'm also going to let you hear what it sounds like on vocals because that's what it's meant for. So we'll get to that all after this introduction. Welcome everybody, I'm Dan Spencer and I am the Audio Sorcerer. So this is the channel where I teach you how to perfect your audio recording, mixing, and mastering skills. So before we get to the video, make sure you guys smash that like button, please subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. So with that being said, today we are talking about the new CLA EchoSphere from Waves. And what this plugin has in it is a slap delay and plate reverb all built into one. And it's meant to emulate CLA's vocal effects chain. So that's pretty cool. You have everything within this plugin that you would need to recreate that chain. Now, this plugin is meant for vocals. There are some presets in here for guitars, and you can use it on them, but don't use it on things like rhythm guitar. You would want to use it on lead guitar, maybe a solo, picking parts, stuff that you want to create some unique space around using reverb and delay. So going back to vocals, it's pretty common that a vocalist is going to record in a vocal booth. Now, vocal booths are really dead sounding, so it's likely the mix engineer is going to add some sort of room reverb to the vocal track to put it in space. But then on top of that, he's going to add another reverb and delay to create more of an effect, to make it sit even that much better in the mix. That is what this plugin is for. That is how you're going to use it. So in this tutorial/review, I'm going to show you all the parameters in this plugin first. And then we're going to test it out on lead vocals in a group of backing vocals within a chorus in a pop punk song called Stars by Overtime Winner. Now, I've done a whole mix series on this song where I mix it from start to finish. And if you guys are interested, I have a playlist popping up in the top right corner for it. Check it out after this video. So with that being said, why don't we get started and we'll go over the parameters within the CLA EchoSphere plugin. All right, so let's look at the bottom half of this plugin first. So on the left-hand side, this is your input section, and this is your input fader level, which controls, of course, the sound into the plugin. And then above that, this is the input LED indicator. So this needs to be hitting in yellow at least, and it's okay if it hits red from time to time. And the reason for that is that this plugin is optimized for a specific level of sound, which is pretty common for a lot of CLA plugins, along with several other Waves plugins. So when it gets the optimal level in, it's going to give you the best results. So above that, we have the mute section. And the mute section is actually linked up to the mute in each of the fader sections of each effect. So if I hit slap here, it mutes it there. If I hit plate here, it mutes it there. So our middle section here for slap and plate, this controls the actual blend between the two. So we would use these faders right here to create our blend to our liking. And then of course we have mute and solo above that. And then we have a high pass and low pass filter for each, which is great because you may want to, affect the slap and plate a little differently with these. And then on the right hand side, we have our output section. And we have a mix knob, which means that we can use this reverb/delay directly on a track, or we can use it on a bus, and that's the way I'm going to be using it in this tutorial. So if we're using it on a bus, we want to turn wet to 100%, so I'll do that now. And then below that, we have the LED output indicator and then the output fader for level. So that is everything in the bottom half of this plugin, so let's move up to the top half. All right, so for the top section here, what you see is based upon what you have selected at the bottom. So I have slap selected at the bottom, and that's why we see all these slap delay parameters up here. So first, let's look at the delay time. So your VSO is based upon your tape speed, and that's IPS. And you have 7.5, which is 332 milliseconds of delay. You have 15, which is 166 milliseconds of delay. And then you have 30, which is 83 milliseconds of delay. And then next to that, you can customly set your milliseconds. Below that, we have an option to sync the delay to the tempo of the song. So if we turn this on and we hit the arrow here, we have all these different options for syncing it to the tempo of the song. And then next to that, we have our feedback, which of course is how many repeats of the delay we hear. And below that, we have a routing section, which we can actually route the delay to the plate reverb, which is pretty cool. So we can put our delay in some verb, and that's simply done by clicking on plate and then adjusting the level of how much you want to send to it. And then of course you have an overall output level for the slap delay sound. Up in the top right corner, this is your mod section here, and this I believe has to do with rate and speed. I don't really use the mod sections in reverbs and delays, so we're not going to talk about it in this tutorial, nor are we going to use it. So let's move on to the plate reverb. Okay, so for plate, we have an option for your pre-delay and your reverb time. And then you have the RT low here and the RT high. So the low basically controls the decay time of low frequencies. And then the high, of course, would be the decay of high frequencies. And this has pretty much everything to do with the reverb tail. So these are all the settings in the plate section here. And then lastly, above this, we have our typical plugin settings for Waves. So the only thing that's really important up here, I would say, is your load section here. And if you go down to CLA, this is where I have access to all the different presets in here. And we are not going to be using any presets in this tutorial. We're going to be doing our settings from scratch. So why don't we get started and test out this reverb.
I'll take you wherever you want to go. I'll hold you through the darkest of nights. You know I'll always care for you deeply. It's amazing how this feels so damn right. I'll take you wherever you want to go. I'll hold you through the darkest of nights. You know I'll always care for you deeply. It's amazing how this feels so damn right. I'll take you wherever you want to go. I'll hold you through the darkest of nights. You know I'll always care for you deeply. It's amazing how this feels so.
Cool, so that actually sounds pretty good. Let's actually hear what that sounds like in the mix.
I'll take you wherever you want to go. I'll hold you through the darkest of nights. You know I'll always care for you deeply. It's amazing how this feels so damn right.
Cool, so I think that sounds really good. So since this song has already been mixed, I was actually able to take some of my settings from the other reverb and put them in here. And what I mean by that was I already kind of knew the pre-delay time I wanted to use on my plate. So I was using 188 milliseconds, so I popped it right in here. So if I had more time, I would probably tweak this a little bit further, but I would say this is probably about 90% there. I actually really like the way that this sounds. So let's move on to the background vocals and let's dial those in and hear what that sounds like.
I'll take you wherever you want to go. I'll hold you through the darkest of nights. You know I'll always care for you deeply. It's amazing how this feels so damn right.
Cool, so all I did was I copied over the settings from when we did the lead vocals to the backing vocals, and I increased the plate reverb a little bit to push them further back in the mix. So we just listened to them in solo and I blended them to how I think they sound good, so why don't we listen to them in the full mix now?
I'll take you wherever you want to go. I'll hold you through the darkest of nights. You know I'll always care for you deeply. It's amazing how this feels so damn right.
All right, so I'm actually thinking that sounds pretty sexy, and I'm curious to know what you guys think. So the background vocals are probably a little bit softer in this blend than in my finished mix, but I think they sound really good with this reverb. I think together they create this very lush sound. And I've been reviewing a lot of AI reverbs lately, and I feel like they've been lacking in the lush department. And none of them have been able to overtake my lustrous plates reverb that I use on all my vocals until now. I feel like this reverb here, the CLA EchoSphere, is now going to be my new go-to vocal reverb. I absolutely love the way that this sounds. And the fact that it has the slap delay and plate built all into one, that is going to save me a aux track. And of course, the blending can all be done within the plugin, and it's easy, it's all right there. So this plugin definitely gets the Audio Sorcerer stamp of approval. So I hope you guys liked this tutorial. I hope you learned something. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys like this plugin, and also let me know what your go-to reverb is. So that being said, make sure you guys hit the notification bell before you guys leave this video. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later, and peace out.